Yeah, the bank decides when your deposits when your deposits. The bank decides when to deposit your deposits, post your deposits, or deposit the posts, or post your deposits.
sure guy that didn't get the memo.
Yeah, you didn't read the paper, did you? I sent it out on a remind and a text. I sent a remind and a text. Said, which
My
shirt
phone
you
got
wearing?
it.
You sure didn't say anything about it today. I wore it all day.
Well, I figured you were going to lose. Yeah, but I figured you were going home. You said you usually go home before you come back to the band in the afternoon. So I figured you were going to
Way to help me out. Appreciate you.
I'm sorry. Read the memo.
Should be on normally.
I think it's a pretty color.
I like that color.
John Martin's wearing turquoise, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
What time do y'all normally get the junior high band at the junior high game?
What time's the game start?
They get there in the middle. They get there in the middle of the.
Seventh grade game.
Well, the seventh grade game's on Monday.
Or the B team, sorry.
The B team. They get there while the B team, so they can play the school song and the fight song.
Because it'll go quick. It'll go quick.
The B team game. What time? I gotta find out.
Well, we talked to Farrell's over here, so we talked to him over here.
I'm talking about if you wanted us to make a recording of the school song. He said, well, Catherine's already got those two bus drivers we're talking about.
I've already got a recording of the school song.
He said, it's not that people on them at all. So we're gonna go.
All right, it's 6:30. We do have a quorum of members present, barely, thank goodness. Everybody showed up that could. We will start with our invocation, followed by our pledge of allegiance, if you will, rise.
Let us pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for all that you have done for us, for this district, for those represented here. Dear Lord, we ask that you continue to give us a wonderful school year, and it's been a great start, Lord, and it's just because of you. Bless the children, the students, the teachers, the faculty, staff, all those that take part in the day-to-day activities of our district. Lord, watch over us as we make decisions tonight based on what's best for the district. Guide us in those decisions. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We begin all of our board meetings with our Bobcat Pride and Recognition. We'll go ahead and start with Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. All right, I would like to get started. And if I could ask Ms. Sherry Morgan and Rami Purdom to come up to the front, please. We would really like to recognize this employee.
I'm just gonna turn around and talk to y'all from this direction. You know, one of the things we as teachers and band directors always say, it's important for us to make a difference in somebody's life. Well, this young man is his first year in Hallsville. He's our head junior high band director. And they come over to the high school every morning and help us. And we had a student that literally passed out and stopped breathing. We called the ambulance and everything, but until that point took place, Mr. Purdom had to do CPR on him. Now, I've been teaching for 49 years and I've not had to do that yet. And I know how scary that was for him, but he took over and did what he needed to do. And because of that, our young lady is safe and still with us. And we're just very proud of what he did for us, and we appreciate the effort that he put forth. He's a hero in our eyes. So we have with us tonight his wife and his son. They came to watch us. They're right here, Anna and Isaiah. Y'all stand up so they can see you. And then as many of our band staff that could be here are here tonight to support him. Thank you, guys. And then Mr. Gibson, come on up here. You're our high school principal, and he was a part of all this when it all went down. And I also want to thank Mr. Martin, because when when I got to the emergency room at the hospital, Mr. Martin had already been there. And you know, you tell me what school district in this area, their superintendent would have taken care of business like that. And he did that too, so thank you, Mr. Martin, thank you, Mr. Purdom, and let's give this young man a big round of applause. Here, let me let you get later, because how's that? All right, I'll let you. Well, I got to go just that. Here, I'll get you.
We appreciate it, Mr. Purdom. We appreciate your quick action and saving students' life. That's impressive, very impressive. We thank you very much for that.
All right, board, audience, at this time, I'd like for Ms. Shauna Hiddle, if you would make your way to the front. She's going to recognize the Curriculum and Instruction Department's Employee of the Month.
Good evening, Mr. Martin and Board of Trustees. We have a few short audience tonight, so it is with great pleasure that I recommend Ms. Danielle Parker, Director of Innovation and Instructional Technology, for our Employee of the Month. Ms. Parker was hired into her new position in July of 2021. She immediately jumped in and began to make plans, working collaboratively with others on our team. She quickly became acquainted with the campuses, the needs of the administrators as well as the teachers, and the tools available to assist them. Mrs. Parker can be found regularly sitting in on teacher planning meetings, quietly listening to their instructional ideas and challenges, while also curating a list of resources to support personalized professional learning for them all before the end of their meeting. Her non-threatening leadership skills make teachers comfortable in asking for help and to take risks. Innovation is a passion, so she will often model that in her training at whatever level individual teachers may be, even when innovation does not involve technology. Mrs. Parker is a valuable asset to the CIA team. Not only does she focus on instructional technology, she supports all efforts involving quality educational opportunities for our students. She's quick to volunteer to lead a meeting, head to a campus to help a teacher, assist an administrator in reviewing data, or collaborate with others to ensure best practices are implemented. Mrs. Parker took the lead on our team's technology fair vision at the convocation earlier this year. She recruited teachers to present and helped our CIA team roll out an incredible way to spotlight our teachers. I've never heard her say, "I'm not sure that can be done." Instead, it's very common to hear her say, "I bet there's a way." Our department is grateful for her dedication and commitment to HISD, our team, our students, and our staff. I'm honored to work with her and nominate her for this month's Employee of the Month.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. We really appreciate what you do for us here in this family at Hallsville ISD. Thank you. All right, Ms. Hiddle, you're still
Okay.
up.
All right. So as you know, we have had our star ratings have recently come out, and for the first time in 3 years, TEA has rated campuses and districts in state accountability. So we haven't had to talk about this in a while. I wanted to introduce you to Randy Dunn, our Director of Assessment and Accountability. So she's helped put this together and is here to help answer questions as well. So this year, so if you think back to 2018, 2019, way back before COVID, there was an A to F rating, and that was fairly new at that time. It had only been out a little while. And then the next year there was COVID. And so there was no STAR testing, so there was no ratings or accountability that year. The next year, it was determined a state of emergency. So although we tested, there was still no accountability based on the pandemic. And then this last year was the first year for the A through F rating to come back into play. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So as you can see, as part of Senate Bill 1365, all districts and campuses will receive a label of the ABC or not rated. There is a D rating and there is an F rating, but anybody below, because of that House bill or that Senate bill, because anything below that, you get a not rated district, which is what Hallsville ISD received, and we'll talk about why in just a moment. So how we are rated on those are 3 domains, and so that's back into student achievement. How did our kids do? How did they perform? What score did they make on approaches, meets, or masters? And then school progress. What kind of growth did our students have? And how much progress did we make from year to year? And then closing the gaps. How did our students, our demographics do? How did one student population group do compared to another population group? So that's how we do it, and you have a handout on that a little to kind of explain it a little more. So when we break it out, so Randy did a great job of trying to break out, because as you know, we have our brick and mortar and then we have our virtual academy. And so we broke that out into 2 different places so that you could see how brick and mortar did, how TEVA did, and then how we did together. So if you'll look right here, of course, green is where we want to see. We want to see the green. And if you look at across the board, we have a lot of green there. I wanted to point out in 3rd grade, that would be our group of students who were in 1st grade the year of the shutdown. So we're not surprised by a little bit of that. We're still kind of catching up from some of those missed skills early on. But over in our meets and the masters, you'll see that we either had the same growth or better. So it was just our struggling students that were struggling before, we're still struggling on that approaches. We already are aware of, if you look down at let me see my glasses. Of course, science and social studies is an area that we are already concentrating on to work with them. And then Algebra 1 are all areas that we want to fill up some gaps there. Okay, the next slide, that's TEVA. So the same things go for TEVA. You can look at their numbers. I wanted to point out lots of green for our virtual students as well. Okay. Now, this is where I wanted to talk about how TEVA, they got their rating of a B rating, because I know you've seen that, and you know the domains, and you know the ratings, and so they are considered an alternative education program. So that's any kind of school that would have any kind of alternative education, which TEVA does represent that. So they have to apply every year. They have to apply for this, and once they qualify for that, they receive AEA status. And so that means you can see there that the provisions are a little bit different than what we have for our brick and mortar. So it helps them out as a campus.
But just at the campus level.
Just at the campus level, yes. So unfortunately, we don't know why, but TEA says it helps the campus, but when you put the students into your district accountability, it does not help which is how we received that not rated score. It was a 66 overall when you combine both TIVA and brick and mortar, which put us at a high D, which put us at not rated. Then the next slide, that's all of our district together. So when you combine both the district and the brick and mortar and TIVA, that's where we land. Now, I say all of that, and of course, we focus, and I mentioned that, you know, science and social studies in 8th grade is an area that we're focused on, and I mentioned that Algebra 1 was, but I do want to point, that's because that's important to us in Hallsville. I do want to point out when those areas, we're still above the state. So although they were lower for us, we're still performing above the state. So lots of green there. And then, of course, distinctions are the next thing that we're always interested in. And so we are awarded those in several areas and based on performance relative to groups of campuses similar types, size, grade span. They kind of compare us to other campuses and districts just like ours, and that's how we receive distinctions. And, of course, we're always wanting to have those. So there's a couple of other school districts that fall into our comparison groups. Now, TIVA is not eligible for distinctions because of the AEA status. So although it helps them with their accountability, they're not able to get distinctions because of it. And so the next is just an example of how that looks when they compare us to other. Here's our Hallsville High School. You can see where they are. And so all of our campuses are compared to like campuses. And then hopefully you've seen these out. We've tried to push this out to our community because we're very proud of how our campuses have performed. And so you can see all of our ratings and our distinctions. What questions do you have for Randy? I'm sure she would love to answer them.
With West being a new campus, how's that going to show up in the coming year?
You want to show them kind of what we thought they might be at?
Yes,
Those down here.
right. We do know that based on preliminary data that West would have been an A campus as well.
If you pull those students out.
Yes, but they would have been at 88 approaches, 56 meets, and 34 masters in math, 90 in reading for approaches, 59 in meets, and 39% in masters.
But when you go back and look in the previous year's data, I mean, you're not pulling those individual students out.
No.
You're looking at it at a campus level, so it'll just be like starting 2023 STAR test. Okay.
Right. Because that's the reason we didn't add those predictions in there, because of it would have kind of messed up the other campuses because we had pulled out those the scores wouldn't have been an accurate reflection of all the campuses. So,
correct.
But if we were to pull those students out, that's where West would have stood.
With the 66 and the no score, if you will, let's go off a worst case scenario. I know that's not going to happen because you've already got a plan for improvement, but what would happen 2 more years of those scores? Does the state start getting involved? Kind of like what happened in Marshall, Texas a few years back, where they come and say we're going to take it over because we've gone 3 years in a row with subpar scores. Is that a possibility?
That's a really great question. So as of now, we've been very proactive in creating what's called a TIP plan and making sure that we're working simultaneously with TIVA to make sure some of the reasons for lower scores, the number one indicator was attendance when it came to STAR. And TIVA has a 95% attendance expectation going into this school year for kids to show up and take the STAR test.
Because they're automatic failures if they don't show up to take the test. So we have, and they were at, where were they at this year? 70s. Yeah, high 80s. So it's a great question. Now I will say with all of this, the state, as you would count on, is under review for new accountability beginning this year. We don't know what that will look like yet. I feel confident that, of course, the achievement will stay the same, growth is a big part of that, which was a part of this also. This year, I do not anticipate them taking that down at all. If anything, increasing the importance of growth and how well our students do. Do they make a year's growth or not each year? House Bill 4545, I feel confident will be a part of that accountability system in working that into as far as how our students are doing that are considered House Bill 4545 students. But other than that, there's a lot of preliminary things out right now, but nothing that the TEA has approved yet to be accountable for. So we train everybody on this year's accountability system, all to say it could change at the end of this year.
They keep it just confusing enough
Yeah.
that nobody even asks questions because all of our test scores, brick and mortar, scored A's and B's. If you look at TIVA, they got a B rating because they're AEA,
Right.
Right.
but it's the 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2
That's right.
because A's and B's don't equal 66. So I understand where they get it from. It's just almost need a doctorate in how to.
Well, you would want it to apply to the district. The formula that they use for the campus, you would want that to apply to the district as well, and right now it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm fine with the AEA.
Right.
Let's separate the two. They'll keep their B rating and get the help because it's specialized, and we still get our true rating here at brick and mortar. So I hope that's what comes out of Austin. But
I do feel like we've been very proactive in working with TIVA. We have a good plan. The TIP stands for Targeted Improvement Plan, and those are different areas that we focus on. Again, attendance is a major part of that. When you're virtual, getting kids actual to all those sites is a pretty powerful thing to make happen because we're all across Texas. We have sites, and they have to do it face to face. So these are virtual students coming to a testing site.
How many testing sites did TIVA have this year?
52?
52.
Yeah.
52.
52 across the state of
52.
Texas.
So some of them drive in an hour to
Sure.
come to the testing site
Texas
because they
can be
have to be
quite
in
remote.
person for that. So that's why they have a low attendance, but that's what we're working on, areas for that to improve. You saw the green in the academic parts of that, so it's kind of fine tuning some things that they're working on, and of course, what we talk about with brick and mortar is we have to do our part too. We have to continue to increase our achievement so that we're doing our part.
Any other questions?
It's fun stuff, isn't it?
I know y'all are working on a plan. We just got to continue to improve both brick and mortar and TIVA. And I know y'all been working on that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item we have is our open forum. We have had one person request to speak. Ground rules for our open forum. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. We'll have a timer. Mr. Crafton will be our timer. The presiding officer designee shall determine whether a person addressing the board has attempted to solve the matter administratively through resolution channels established by policy, and the board shall not tolerate disruption of the meeting by members of the audience. Audience participation in the board meeting is limited to the public comment portion, and it's for that designated purpose. At all times during the board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless requested by the presiding officer. This time we'll ask Courtney Hortman to speak on classes. Ms. Hortman.
Hello.
Howdy.
This is my first time attending the meeting. I don't have any children. I live here in Hallsville. I graduated Hallsville 2009. I'm a college student now, returning. And even though I don't have children, I am interested in what our children in the next generation are being taught. And before I would like to get involved in any of this, I need to know what is being taught and how. I don't have any children to go ask, and I think it would be also perhaps more accurate to ask teachers and staff. So that is what I am interested in, and how I would get that information.
I believe you can, we can get, Mr. Martin will get some contact information when we break here in just a second, and we'll get someone in touch with you to hopefully answer some of your questions. All
Thank you,
right?
Mr. Nelson.
Thank
Hey,
you.
when we break into executive, don't take off. I'll come get you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right, guys, next thing we've got is our consent items. First, we'll start with our minutes from the August 5th special budget meeting workshop, then the August 22nd public hearing and special board meeting, and then the August 22nd regular board meeting. We've got our general fund, balance sheet and financials, bond fund, balance sheet and financials, bond fund analysis, quarterly investment report, annual investment report, and we've got 2 budget amendments. I do want to pull, I believe it's budget amendment 2023-1 and reserve it. That's the one for the gift. Reserve it till after we approve the gift. All right. So items 5A through K, we'll consider. We have a motion to approve our consent items.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items, just taking out 2023-1 and putting that over the time.
All right. We have a motion to approve. We have a second by Mr. Lee. Any comments or questions? All in favor? 4-4, none opposed. All right. Next, guys, got their information items. Our check register for August 22. Policy FDA local. It's on a 30-day read. Elementary update. Anything on our elementary? Mr. Shannon.
Good evening, guys.
Howdy.
I had some
Good news.
schedules. Yeah. Good news is it's the project's moving. So I just got some keynotes, talk about the interior first. Elevator's been installed. Don't have it signed off yet, but it is in place. Getting there with the finishes around it now. Carpet in the classrooms. We have 3 classrooms we're going to be working on finishing tomorrow. That'll take you all the way 3 through 8. Vinyl flooring will be starting right after that, coming down the corridors. Working ceramic tile in the restrooms in area 1 right now, going up to 6, 7, and 8 to the joint bathrooms up there in the next day or so. Marker boards, we picked them up, been working on picking them up the last couple days. Those are going in. Doors and hardware, we're locking all the classrooms behind, asking people to come get us if they need in. Reason why, so we can keep everything clean. Cabinets, they're finishing up in the classroom, still have a little bit of work there, but they will be moving over to area 1, start setting the cabinets in the admin so we can get the flooring getting on over there. Big thing it's been a milestone of us, but working hard lid in area 3. Anybody that knows anything about it's where all the radius walls tie in, a lot of work in there. That work is starting. They started some of it today, and that work will be progressing through the week, getting the lights in. That's huge for us. So,
When you say area 3, what area is that? The library? Is it cafeteria?
No, it takes you outside of the corridor where the glass wall is. You got the courtyard.
Okay.
Right outside there, there's 2 big radius walls. That's been a nightmare of ours to try to get in there and get that done, but that's kind of where we're dying in at right now to get the finishes.
Okay.
So it's moving pretty well right now. We're going to keep it that way. Exterior, our metal wall panels and soffit panels finally arrived. Finishing up the courtyard, hopefully tonight, so that we can jump in tomorrow and start all of our site utility work, get all the drains tied in. So I got a lot of work in there with concrete steps, so that way we can flow out. Another thing we received, finally got our glazing. Still see some plywood in the holes, but the building will be locked up and closed up by the end of tomorrow. Get us more units going and try to get the thing climatized. So landscapers came back on site this week as well. Starting concrete sidewalks, setting forms tomorrow, start pouring that stuff so we can get the canopies finished where you see all the columns, and get more columns in for the other canopy heading on the north side of the project. So that was pending getting the roof drains tied in. So And then perimeter fencing. You guys see it kind of going in, so hopefully we'll get gates in the next couple weeks, take down the temporary stuff, and start looking like more of a finished product instead of where it's at. Some critical path items for completion. After fighting, going back and forth, we got confirmation that our walk-in cooler will ship the 16th of October. So it's going to be tight for us to get it in there and get it done with the steps, but it can be done. So if it's working 2 shifts, we're going to have to figure something out. And that's what kind of our approach on the matter right now. If we got to have concrete poured at night, we're going to pour it at night. Let it cure, do our thing, get the flooring in there. So marquee sign, the end of the month in October, around the 26th. I actually emailed out. And then last but not least, I spoke with the city inspector today regarding the furniture. So we're about 90% on cutting in the fire sprinklers right now. Fire alarm system's going in play right now. As soon as all the ceilings are done, they tie everything out. I'm hoping in about 4 weeks we can begin testing and get that signed off so that we can get you guys anything you guys need for real estate, put furniture in, get you guys set up. Still have a mile ahead of us and a half a mile of time left, but I think we're there. Schedule's been holding up fairly well, good activity on the weekend, and a lot of subs doing 10s and 12s still. So ever since Labor Day, everybody's kind of dialed back in and working hard.
So we still projected by the end of October?
That's our projections right here. I updated everything late last week, and it's showing that we can still pull off in October.
Questions?
So I think there will still be punch list items.
Well, sure.
Architectural stuff. But
We can
for
get
you
an
guys
occupancy
getting in
deal.
there, doing your thing, getting set up, I think we're there.
If we can get the occupancy thing, that's the big deal.
Yes.
As soon as we can get that and get in. And
We might be setting a few trees out front and doing some cleanup and
that's fine.
miscellaneous
Yeah.
punch items.
We
but
get in the building, that's a big deal.
that's my biggest goal, is getting you guys in the building right now.
Big deal. Any other questions?
When school starts back after the holidays,
We're going to be long and gone. We're going to be long and gone. My goal is still to push out of there November 1st. I think, like I said, we'll have punch list items and some miscellaneous tinkering. But that's my full focus right now, is 6 days a week pushing this thing to be out of there by Halloween. I got 6 weeks left, not counting today.
Yeah.
So,
Days
but
over.
everybody's been a lot of work, a lot of patience, and we're getting there. It's just going to take.
The glass in the
all
top
hands.
of the front of the building, library, is that in? I keep debating myself every time I drive by. Is it clean? No.
No.
Okay.
They put 3 units in today. They'll put the other 7 in tomorrow. I tried to get him to stay late, but he said he had soccer practice, and I said,
He's still playing soccer? That's
"Yeah, you
great.
got to take his kid." And I said, "Well, that's what a wife's for."
Understand.
I get it. You got to go take care of your kid. I just killed myself.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to dig you out of that one.
No.
You better run.
Yeah.
I almost volunteered to do it myself, but I was here tonight. Is that unfair of you?
Yeah, that's great.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be
I played
fast.
sports for years too, and I jockeyed at work, did everything. Did it all the way around.
Y'all got any more questions for Shannon?
Before I get the apples are happy.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. There's a side door here if that helps.
I'm gonna walk back through here. I apologize.
All right, Mr. Erickson, we'll update on the auditorium punch list.
So, West Furniture, the balance of the West Furniture is set up for the end of next month. So he's got no choice but to be ready. Auditorium punch list, myself and Huckabee, I have 2 guys from Huckabee will be walking punch list items on Wednesday, verifying that everything's on the punch list is completed, and anything that's not, we'll take that up with Heritage. We had a couple of lingering issues. We elected to change the verbiage on the front of the building. The order's been placed. I don't know where that's at when it comes in. We have that set up so that they can install that, and they're actually on board to install the other lettering at the other auditorium if that's what we want. So we need to get together and figure that out, but that is set up that way. The fire alarm panel that we discussed and got confirmation from the new City of Hallsville Fire Marshal that is fixing to start taking place. We're gonna move that to where we wanted it instead of in the front of the lobby. Other than that, it's some few miscellaneous things here and there, but for the most part, I walked it at the end of last week and there was 2 or 3 items lingering that I really noticed. Other than that, most of the subcontractors have taken care of everything. But we're gonna walk interior and exterior, Wednesday,
Hey, what time are you guys gonna do that walkthrough?
8 early.
8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Make sure you grab Mr. Gibson if he's available.
I will. Me and him are actually gonna look at a couple other issues. The fencing that they couldn't get, part of that came in and they were missing some stuff. I don't know what was missing, but part of the fencing that closes off the courtyard between the auditorium and the high school, part of it's been installed. So I gotta see where we're at on that. I don't know what was missing on the order. I don't know why that took so long to get it. But for the most part, that thing is up and running. Acoustics. Acoustics, everybody's happy so far.
You could probably stand up there and give a speech to the whole auditorium without a microphone. It's pretty impressive.
Didn't you tell me you were gonna sing for us up there? Is that
Nobody
what-
wants to hear that.
Okay. I was just checking. So, you guys have any other questions, auditorium
You think,
or West?
Mr. Erickson? Appreciate you, sir. All right, we'll move to our action items. First item is consider acceptance of the in-kind donation for the athletic department. Coach Farrell.
This is one that just kind of stumbled in our laps, looking for monetary donations. We went to Jackrabbit Off-Road and said, I can't give you money, but I can give you a golf cart. And so we're like, okay. In addition, we're giving them 4 years of advertisement, just on our scoreboard. It'll be up there. That's the kind of the contract was put in there. It's valued around $21,000, and you've already seen it out there on Friday nights. We used it to distinguish alumni to VIP parking. We used it at the cross-country meet as a pace car. Following up, we're using it right now as a trainer deal. So it's just we just ask that you accept it and just it's in the district. If you need it, let us know. But it's a good little golf cart, and it's nice to have. Any questions about it or its use,
You don't have
functions?
a picture of it?
Do what?
You don't have a picture of it?
I do not on there, no, sir. Well, it was delivered to us. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't something we were looking for. And he just showed up at Friday, like at 4:30, and said, here's your golf cart. Where do you want to put it? And like, oh, that was fast. But we're blessed to have it.
Where
So,
are you keeping it?
well, right now it's at the junior high. It's on the back side of the field house, underneath the awning. It will eventually go to the high school and stay there in the same place that Leroy's is at, where it's completely out of the elements.
But that's got that fence around it, doesn't it?
It does have a fence around it. So it's got a roof over it, and it can be locked into a little bay, but it is, it's an 8-foot, 12-foot fence, completely enclosed. So it's not the crosswinds, and it's in the elements, but it's out of direct sunlight and stuff. So it'll eventually be put into a shed. So,
Any other questions on the golf cart? We have a motion to approve or to accept the in-kind donation of a golf cart. We have a motion by Doug. We have a second by Mr. Lee. All right. Other questions or comments? All in favor? 4, none opposed. Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and get the next item here. Consider the approval of the high school track resurface project.
yes, if you've been out there, I know Miss Morgan's been out there and walked across that track a couple of times. It's not functionable as a track in any shape, so it is it's time. We've known that, and we're just putting it off. Now's just the best time to get to it. Now that the field is done, we didn't want to tear it up. Reached out. We got 3 bids. ProTech out of Tyler is one of the bids, and they have existing. They've already done a couple of things in our district. Paragon Sports also gave us a bid, and so did Hellas. The scope of work is basically for a 1/2 inch of a polyurethane mat that all existing D-zones, track surface, and the upper field event area where you do long jump and triple jump, all of that will be completely replaced, removed, put the 1/2 inch mat down, and it's like 10 millimeters, so I'm just rounding it up. And then two coats of the polyurethane spray will go on top of that, plus the NFHS striping that'll go on top of it. So we're suggesting to go with ProTech. They've done work for us before, and they're out of Tyler, and he's got knowledge of our place, and he's come out multiple times in emergency and moved boards for triple jump and repainted and done some things on some emergency type of situations. He's very available to us, and he's done our tracks before as well.
The competition track.
Do what's?
The competition track at the football
Competition
field?
track, yes, sir. And this is just so, we had an option to go with a 4 to 5, 6-year track or a 10-year track. But when you do the 10-year track, it's basically just take your 5-year track, double the money, and then hope it goes out at 10 years instead of 7 or 8. So just looking at it, it's best to go all of these have a 5-year warranty. $228,000, somewhere in that range is what it's going to cost for the complete scope of work. It's supposed to last us 5 years, and then if it doesn't, then you come back and do it again in 5 years. That's about the length of it. You know, we got 10, 11 out of ours, which was pretty good.
Probably got 8 good years, though.
8 good years out of it, right. But we might be looking at 3 to 4 years to come back in and do some sort of prep work, but I don't think we'll have to do any massive work for this one out here. There was a $50,000 contingency just because for the asphalt when they pull it up. And the plan is to come in November. It'd take them about a week, 7 to 10 days to get it done. Any
Will that affect
questions
the
on
use
that?
of that practice field during November?
No, sir, we won't be able to use it because once they lay that turf down and it starts getting sticky, we won't have a place to walk across it. So, and the weather has to be above 50. It can't be below 50, so it's kind of a tight window, but he thinks November he should be able to get in. No problem if we'll give him a full week.
Is that 50 in the 228?
No, it's the 228 is what it's going to cost to repair it, but they all put a contingency in just in case that asphalt, because they can't look at the asphalt, just in case. He feels like it's, because he was there when it was put in. This guy was. He feels like it's going to be in good shape, but just in case they pull it up, that we're not coming back asking you for another 18 because there's a structural damage or something like that. You've already kind of, and I think Ms. Brown, didn't you allocate 300? Yeah, 350 for it. But the cost of it is at 228, unless we go in there and pull it up and we have no problems, we won't need that 50.
Okay.
We ran into the D zones at the stadium.
Yes, sir.
We've got that.
The verbiage on this is my expectation. It is to be 100% polyurethane.
Nothing's coming back. It's
No, sir. That will be. I've got an email that's kind of clarified that. 100% of the existing track surface at the high school will be replaced, removed, and put down like existing, like currently.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve ProTech? All right, we have a motion. We have a second? Second by Doug. Any discussion? All in favor? 4, none opposed.
Thank you
Thank
much.
you, sir. All right, I'm going to bring back the 5L. Yep, 23, Budget Amendment 2023-1. And Ms. Mary, would you come? Yeah. Now that we've accepted the gift, this is in relation to the gift.
Good evening, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Martin, board members. Yes, in order, now that you've accepted the formally accepted the donation of the golf cart, in order to recognize that in our financial statements, we have to recognize that as a fixed asset and as an expenditure, and that would come out of our function 36, which is our extracurricular, which is how the function of the golf cart. And this would not increase our budgets or bring it into a deficit or anything, because there'll be an offsetting revenue increase to the donation revenue budget.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve Budget Amendment 2023-1? Motion. We have a second. Mr. Lee seconds. Discussion. All in favor? 4, none opposed. Thank you, ma'am. We'll go ahead and continue yours. Consider the approval of Resolution for 22-23 investment policies, CDA local.
Yes. These next three items are all related and come up every September for annual review and approval. This first one relates to the adoption of a resolution to approve the investment policy and strategies for the district. This is our local policy, CDA, if I'm saying that up. Yeah, CDA local. Nothing has changed in the language of that, the board policy from last year. I just want to point out that our strategies for investing will continue to have the primary objectives for safety, investment liquidity, and maturity sufficiency to meet anticipated cash flow requirements throughout the year. So all of that remains the same, and the resolution is provided for you as well to accept this.
Do we have a motion to approve the resolution for 22-23 investment policy, CDA local? All right, we have a motion by Mr. McGarvey. Second by Crafton. All in favor? 4, none opposed. All right, now we've got the 22-23 investment brokers and investment sources.
Yes, this relates to who we put our money with, invest it with. We're not adding anybody new this year. These are the same institutions that we've invested with and had our funds on deposit with. Guarantee Bank is still our depository bank and will be through the end of this year, and then we'll have another chance for renewal for another 2 years after that. Our CDs are on deposit with Texas National Bank, and our investment pools, primarily the gross majority of them are on deposit with Lone Star Investment Pool. There's liquidity within a day there, and we're earning a good healthy interest rate on that one right now. TexPool and Techstar, we have small balances in, about $10,000 each, just to keep a balance there should those interest rates shift in the other way. So if administration recommends the approval of the listed investment brokers and investment sources for this 22-23 year.
Okay, this comes as a recommendation from administration to approve the resolution, the investment brokers and investment sources. Do you have a motion to approve?
Move to approve as presented.
Mr. Gall. Second by Crafton. All in favor? All for. All right. And then the resolution of the 2022-23 investment training sources.
Yes. Each year we have 3 investment officers with the district, myself, Mr. Martin, and Ms. Kathy Bradford, the assistant business manager. Each year we have to, every 2 years we have to get 8 hours of training and investment officer training. So this just lists the attached resolution lists those sources of training that we have. The same sources are listed. We're adding one. Texas State University has offered, we see emails come through that they offer some free opportunities for the Public Funds Investment Act training. So we wanted to definitely just add them on there so we have that opportunity to take advantage of that as well.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution for the investment training sources? McGarvey moves to approve. Do we have a second? Second from Mr. Gall. I saw your hand. All right.
Thank you
all
so
in
much.
favor? 4, none opposed.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Brown.
you. Appreciate it.
Last action item is to consider the approval of the Upshur Rural request, not Upshur Rural, Upshur County, for 4-H organization. Ms. Scott.
Good evening. In visiting with Julie York, who's the Upshur County Extension agent, she was able to explain more in detail what her request entailed. Mrs. York is also serving as the Upshur County 4-H director. Her request is a request between the school and the 4-H program to request excused absences for their members. How this applies to us, Mrs. York was able to point out that we have a number of 4 students in particular that live in Upshur County, live in Gilmer, but are students of our district. They're transfer students to our district. So she's requesting permission to serve them, and in serving them, that would enable for her to report absences back to our district, and then us be able to get the ADA for those students. I'm told that we have the same agreement with Gregg County 4-H as well as Harrison County 4-H. I did talk to Harrison County, and he verified that this was an agreement that they signed with us years ago.
Okay.
And I did ask Mrs. York for the names of the students that she was referring to, and I was able to ensure that they are Hallsville ISD students.
Yeah, that was our only concern,
Yeah.
was did we have students living in Upshur County? And we do.
Yes.
There's 4 of them that want
But
to
the
be part of the
information-
Upshur County.
Presented last month was completely different than the conversation that I guess she explained to me.
Mm-hmm.
correct? So the information that she sent last month is off the table, correct?
No, that's it. We put it on a 30-day read. In hindsight, being 2020, she should have led with the 4 kids that we have in our buildings.
Right.
Yeah, it's not
That
that
would've
they're electing,
peaked it.
Hallsville kids. Harrison
She's
County
not
kids going
recruiting
there.
Hallsville ISD students. She's only serving those that live in Upshur County.
No, not a teacher. It's really ADA on absences.
Right. And we
Same thing.
also have students that live in Harrison County that choose not to participate in Hallsville FFA, but they choose to participate in Harrison County 4-H. Thank you.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the Upshur County request for 4-H organization status? Okay, we have a motion to approve. We have a second? Second by McGarvey. Comments or questions? All in favor? 4, none opposed. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Goff.
All right, there's no further questions. We do have our department reports. Is there anyone that y'all would like to have questions about or anything? All right. I did appreciate Mr. Presley's note regarding the athletic department and coaches helping get our drive buses for our bands and our drill teams so that our regular route buses and bus drivers didn't get pulled off. So we do appreciate pulling extra duties and working together. All right, if there's no further comment, the board will close our regular session to go into executive, and we'll be closed at 7:20. All right, appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Glad to have you. Glad to be here. First year here? 22 is 18. 18. I was the only man director for 18 years. College. Thank you very much. No.
You guys do it right now?
You know, and all the training that we get, they never tell you when to make that call. Like, I have to do it now. But you do know. This has to happen now. This is going down like that. Good evening.
I'm there.
too high. Ready to go back into open? It is 8:16. We'll reconvene into open session with the superintendent's report. Personnel first. Do we have a recommendation for personnel changes? Do we have a motion to approve? Okay, we have a motion by Troy. We have a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Lee, seconds. All in favor? 4-4, none opposed. Now superintendent report.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. All right, so September the 22nd coming up and through the 24th, we've got our TASBY convention down in San Antonio. I think Ms. Gwynn, if you're able to attend, Ms. Gwynn has left you a folder with all your information about the convention and whatnot. Next Tuesday, September the 27th, our Performing Arts Center over at the high school, we're going to make our grand opening. That's going to be at 4:30 to 6. That's kind of a come and go event. Ms. Hiddle will have it all nice and decorated, ready. She likes that kind of stuff. She's really good at that stuff. So, hey, and also don't forget, if you can come by there, then make your way on down to the Coliseum. We've got Pine Tree coming in volleyball. Let's make a stand. We got the tree coming in. September the 28th, the next day, Wednesday, see you at the poll. Be that morning early. October the 3rd through the 4th, pre-legislative summit. I know Mr. Gall, you're signed up with me to go to that. Board members, if any of you are available on it's really the 4th, October the 4th. I think the 3rd is like a 5:30 to 7:30 that evening. But the main session is on the 4th, and it's over at that, what's the name of that hotel? It's right there beside the Good Shepherd Institute for Healthy Living.
Hilton Garden Inn.
Hilton Garden Inn. It's right there. They'll bring in several of our legislators, and they'll talk about pre-legislative agenda items. All right, October the 10th through the 14th is our school fall break. And then our next regularly scheduled board meeting will be October the 24th at 6:30 right here. All right, Mr. Nelson, that is the superintendent's report.
All right. There's no further discussion. We will be closed. 8:18.
Yeah.
Wow. Beating Dale's record.